My brother asked me to pay for his wedding, but he won't let me participate. I'm the idiot for doing something wrong before we started. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel I'm the Idiot on YouTube and click on the bell to receive notifications. I'm a 31-year-old woman and I have a 29-year-old brother. He's getting married next year. Our mother passed away in 2012 and our father in 2016. We are the only relatives left for each other. We have a good job. I earn very well, about £150,000 a year. My brother also has a good job, but earns much less, about £35,000. We were raised to always support and share my partner, and I don't have children. Over the years I paid for my brother's master's degree. I paid the down payment for his house that our parents rented so we don't have a family home. I will also pay for my future sister-in-law who is 26 years old and my brother have future attempts at in vitro fertilization. By in vitro fertilization, my sister-in-law works part-time and earns about $15,000 a year. Her parents don't have much money, so my brother asked me if I could help with the cost of the wedding. I said I would pay for everything, since it's small, with 100 guests, and I opened a wedding account for them, where I deposited £25,000, which they can use. My sister-in-law's entire family is involved as bridesmaids and groomsmen. My husband and I are just guests that my brother and sister-in-law have visited places with her family, and I received an email with the price if they choose. I told my brother that I don't mind paying for the wedding, but I feel very excluded that everyone else is involved in the choice and I'm only involved in the payment of my brother. He said that I'm not our parents, that I can't replace our parents, and that's why I'm not involved. Why can't I do something nice without making him feel bad about it? I feel like an idiot for creating confusion, but I also feel exploited. For a little more information before giving your opinion of idiot or not, this is in the UK, in Northern Ireland, to be more precise. $35,000 is a good salary. I don't have student debt to pay because I didn't go to college. I was in the army before becoming a commercial pilot. My brother's salary will increase in his company. He needed a master's degree to advance in his career. My sister-in-law works part-time because she has a health problem. She will never be able to work full-time because of it. Related, it is not clear if this is affecting her fertility. In Northern Ireland, you are entitled to one attempt at in vitro fertilization by the NHS, which they did. They paid 2 more at $8,000 each. My sister-in-law paid another and made it clear that they couldn't afford a wedding if it was like that. My brother and sister-in-law are suffering emotionally from the fertility problems. It is not a cynical attempt to get money for those who talk about adoption. There are some serious things with the impact of my sister-in-law's illness. They are not attractive candidates. I am close to my brother, but I pay for the things we do together. He has always been by my side emotionally, especially during some personal problems that I went through shortly before and after leaving the army. And my future sister-in-law was also. They didn't plan the engagement party that my sister-in-law's family planned. I was not invited to the wedding because my husband and I are always busy. We have careers that make us travel a lot. My brother-in-law and my sister were shocked when they found out that we were not called. They thought we had given a cake, but we clarified everything and made a tasty dinner together. My husband agrees with our financial support. We are also paying for his sister's college, but I don't understand why she needs to study at such an expensive university if we have more affordable options. I don't know how to deal with this situation, but I think maybe I'm not helping my brother grow as I wanted, and that I also deserve a little gratitude, even if it's just from him, in particular. Jumping to the present, I have a bombastic novelty. I talked to my brother and my sister-in-law, and she told me that she planned this with her brothers since childhood, that her family knows what she dreams of, and that, traditionally, weddings are from the bride and the bride's family, that they have a lot of participation. I said that's fine, but that, traditionally, the bride's family also pays, and that they can feel free to pay if tradition is so important. I said that, traditionally, the groom's family also has a voice. She said I was offending her family for not being rich. I said that was not my intention, and that my brother's wedding is also important to him and to me, that I am his only family, and that, to tell the truth, we went through some hardships, so a party would be nice. She said she understands that, but that we don't have the same style and that she doesn't want to feel obliged to change anything she had planned. I said I wasn't going to ask her to change anything, I just wanted to go, so I wouldn't feel like an ATM. You can see that this conversation wasn't going to lead anywhere. I said I wanted to make a speech at the reception, in place of my father, to welcome her to the family, and she said her father was going to welcome Stephen to her family, so it wasn't necessary. Now I see that my sister-in-law doesn't want to see me or treat me as family. That was clear. Then my sister-in-law's mother calls me and says, "Hi, look, we were thinking about you and your husband and we wanted you to help us send them to the honeymoon. I think it would be nice if it came from both sides." I freaked out, asked if she didn't think I was doing too much by paying for the whole wedding. She said she didn't know I was paying for the whole wedding, she just thought it was my brother, which, let's face it, doesn't make sense. Where were they going to get $25,000 like that, if they are saving for each attempt of in vitro fertilization? Then I went crazy, like wine in pajamas crazy. I called my brother, told him the situation. He said he didn't know they didn't know I was paying. I said it's not obvious, at this point, that the sister is the bank. He said he appreciates everything I did for him and that my sister-in-law and her family just don't recognize how much I did and continue to do. He promises he will fix this. My brother tries to ease the situation and questions me about my degree of involvement. I speak with sincerity that it hurts me a lot to have to fight several times about the same subject for him to recognize that I was not being respected. I shouldn't have to go through all this stress to have a place in the wedding of someone from my own family. I say I will go only as a guest. They should do the wedding that the sister-in-law wants. But I will distance myself a little. I say that I love him, that I will always be with him, that I will continue to help with the in vitro fertilization, but that my financial help is over. The house, the education, the wedding, everything was done by them. My brother says he understands and asks if distancing myself means we will see each other less. I say no, that I am still his sister, of course. But that this hurt me a lot and made me feel that he and my sister-in-law do not value our bond. We talk a little more and I say that I don't want to ruin his wedding, that I won't interfere, that I will be just a sister from now on and stop trying to do what I think mom and dad would do if they were here. We end up talking about the pressure and responsibilities that I feel since they left. Everything very difficult. I think I will look for a therapist to deal with this. A lot of it is pain that I have not overcome, and an irrational thought in my head is that if my brother doesn't need anything, he won't suffer so much from the lack of our parents. We both agree that this is the best for us. So I was the idiot for paying for my brother's entire wedding and expecting them to involve me in it. Money is messing everything up. As the author of the post said, he already has a good enough salary to live, and being financially dependent on me only creates more problems. Not only in the relationship between me and my brother, but also between the sister-in-law's family and the sister-in-law herself. You can see that the operation is creating resentment because the sister-in-law's family doesn't know that the operation that the sister paid for the entire wedding and still wanted her to pay more for the honeymoon and split the cost. The operation was boiling, and this is just a summary. So you can imagine how angry she was in that situation for feeling totally despised. The simplest and most direct solution here is to let the brother be an independent adult, either now for this wedding or soon after. From what it seems, anything is better than the Opie having to see herself as the ATM, as she says. If it were you and your brother and you were helping him all these years and this happened, how would you deal with it, idiot or not idiot? Let me know below. I am the idiot for banning my mother-in-law from home after I found out that she installed a camera in the bedroom. My husband is 33 years old. He had a car accident almost a month ago. He is bedridden due to a back injury and I am his primary caregiver. The pressure from my mother-in-law has been too much. She keeps telling me to take care of him and be by his side constantly. She begged me to take a break from work, and I gave in. She asked me for updates every hour on his condition for the first 2 weeks, but when I failed, her irritation surfaced, causing problems. She visits daily, but her presence is devoid of help. Instead, she lists guidelines on what I should or shouldn't do. The family insists that her concern is only for her son, and I try to maintain serenity. Recently, she called to scold me for not changing the sheets quickly, which surprised me, since my husband did not contact her. The revelation came through my sister-in-law, informing me that her mother installed a camera in the bedroom to ensure my proper care for her son. After a shocking search, I found the camera. The subsequent discussion with my mother-in-law resulted in an admission of her excessive concerns. She justified the intrusion, stating that she wanted to ensure her son's well-being, despite her daily contacts with him. I refused her presence in my house, provoking an explosive reaction from her, claiming that this would make her sick for not seeing her son. The family tried to convince me to reconsider, claiming that the mother was only showing maternal concern. However, I maintained my decision, alleging violation of privacy and exploitation of the situation. My husband disagrees, accusing me of revenge. The discussion resulted in his silence, and he suggested that if his mother was not welcome, he would move there. Now, I wonder if I was reckless in banning my mother-in-law after discovering the cameras. It is an extreme invasion of privacy, hard to believe that my husband is indifferent. The mother, skilled enough to install and monitor the camera, could have helped more significantly. Regardless, her installation of the camera is enough to cut ties. As for my brother-in-law's comment on the hair on my legs, I feel confused. As a 19-year-old woman, I took care of my nieces during dinner at my parents' house. The casual choice of sitting next to my brother-in-law was accompanied by a rude comment on the hair on my legs. Whether or not it is considered an overreaction, I feel questioned. How would you deal with this situation? Am I right in maintaining my stance in the face of my mother-in-law's intrusion and my brother-in-law's inappropriate comment? I was wearing a skirt and it accidentally went up above my knee. My brother-in-law looked at me from head to toe and made a disgusted face. And he still blurted out, "Yuck, how horrible, you had to shave that hair that shouldn't be there." Everyone heard and I retorted, "If it shouldn't be there, then why is it born there? Can you explain?" He was embarrassed and said, "Well, it shouldn't be there." I pointed to his mustache and said, "Well, I think the same goes for your little mustache, right?" He looked at me with wide eyes and an awkward silence set in, despite some laughter. My sister told me to stop while my brother-in-law got up from the chair and went to the bathroom. My sister went after him and I could hear him having a nervous breakdown asking if there was something wrong with his mustache. My brother and I kept laughing, but dinner was over because my brother-in-law wanted to leave. Later, my sister scolded me saying that I crossed the line and disrespected someone who was older than me. And she demanded that I apologize for offending him and ruining dinner. My sister said the reason my brother-in-law was so hurt was because he considers his mustache a symbol of his masculinity. So I attacked his masculinity, not just made a sarcastic comment. She said I hurt him psychologically and that I should apologize for that. But I don't know if that helps anything, except how he feels about his mustache. So I'm the asshole. This is one of those situations where it's confusing why the brother-in-law cares so much. Who cares if she has hair or not? Why is that relevant to him? Maybe he thought he was making a joke, but then he forgot to tell the joke. And he thought it was funny, but no one else did. So he didn't expect her to respond so strongly to him because of his little virile mustache. He seems like a guy who doesn't have much going on, so he focuses on worrying about things that a normal person probably wouldn't care about. Like what people think of his mustache and if other people have hair on their legs. But how do you see it? Tell me below, asshole or not asshole? And why am I the asshole for telling my dad who disappeared that I don't remember him? I'm 15 years old, female. My dad is 46 years old. My dad abandoned the family when I was 7 years old without any explanation. He just disappeared one day and I never saw him again. He left because of relationship problems with my mom. She was devastated and waited 5 years for him to come back, but in the end she filed for divorce. Fortunately, she got over it. Now, to be honest, 8 years after he left, I hardly have any memory of him, just a little resentment for the years of suffering he made my mom and sister go through. My sister is 19 years old. They tried to contact him, but he never answered. I can't remember his voice, personality, or even his face. Last week, he sent a message to my mom and said he wanted to see me after 8 years of disappearance. My mom agreed and we made an appointment at a restaurant near home. My sister was anxious and happy, but I noticed that I felt nothing. He showed up and my mother and my sister got emotional. He also got emotional when he saw his t-shirt, "Dear Daughters," and he said that I was very cold and said, "Don't you miss your Diana?" I told the truth that I didn't remember him. He disappeared a long time ago. It's as if I didn't know him. He was so offended and sad that he ended up cutting our meeting short, saying that he had to work. my mother and my sister got very angry and blamed me. My mother said that my sister had been waiting to see her father for a long time, but I had to make a stupid remark and make him go away again, asking how I could act like that with my father, calling me a selfish bee and an idiot. I regret that he shortened the meeting because I knew that my sister missed him a lot, but to be honest, I don't regret telling the truth. I'm an idiot if you need to have the exact emotional state for him not to run away again as he did before, when he was wrong according to that, then you don't need him in your life. It's easier said than done, but this is very revealing. Either you give him the exact emotions he wants or he will leave, and then your sister and your mother will turn against you and blame you again for his disappearance. Even though this is logically valid without any weight, if anything, she should have been tough with him, not just neutral, but actually start to charge him and tell him what the reality was, the situation. For him to abandon them and then want to enjoy the fruits of having his dear daughters when he only comes crawling back to their lives, I have no pity for this father. Whatever it is, what probably happened is that he had a good thing going on and that thing ended, then he went back to the plan for his own family, his daughters, and the mother maybe not, but in a lot of these situations that seems to be what usually happens. So if you were in a situation where your father was absent for so long that you didn't even remember him and then he left angry because you didn't have the right emotion expressed to him, how would you deal with the situation, and do you think the operation is an idiot or not? If you want to see the next story, go to the YouTube description, click on the playlist and you can let everything run in the background while you relax, play, trade stocks, go to school or work. And if you still don't, forget to subscribe to the channel by pressing the subscribe button and then pressing the bell to activate the notifications. But anyway, thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Thank you very much for watching until the end of this video, where we explored some of the most interesting and curious stories from Reddit. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you liked this video, please share it with your friends and relatives, subscribe to my channel, leave your like and activate the bell of notifications to not miss any content. I appreciate your support very much and see you next time.